Hello boys, welcome back to another session of video tutorials, and this session is meant for class 11th biology students, and this is for 26th December 2020. As all of you know, we are into the revision mode. We are revising the entire syllabus of 11th class biology, and in that, as part of it, we are revising chapter number 18, body fluids and circulation. In that, our memory always helps us in tracing out, reflecting upon what we have been studying. We started off with the blood and its composition. We talked about the structure and importance of each part of the blood, and then we talked about the reason or logic in formation of four blood groups in human beings: A, B, AB, and O. We also talked about why the groups will be further divided into A plus and A minus, B plus and B minus, or B positive, B negative, AB positive, AB negative, O positive, O negative, all that. And we also talked about compatibility of donor and recipient. As part of it, if there is no compatibility, blood starts clotting. So why the blood clots happen or formed, and naturally also whenever there is any injury to the body due to accidents, due to falls, how the blood clots in the injured area, what are the various reasons for blood clotting, and in what way it helps us. And extremes also, if it takes place, like if the clotting takes place, what will happen? If clotting doesn't take place, why it will not take place and what will happen? So all these things we discussed in our previous sections, and now we are going straight to the another liquid which flows in our body, that's lymph. So during flow of blood through capillaries, some water soluble substances move out in space between cells of tissues. This fluid released out is called interstitial fluid or tissue fluid. It is similar to blood but has few blood proteins, less calcium, less phosphorus, and high glucose concentration. So basically this lymph is colorless fluid containing specialized lymphocytes that provide immune response to body. So we have got, the lymph has got lymphocytes which are again a type of soldiers, type of WBC, which will fight and protect our immune system. Main function of lymph is to provide immunity, carry proteins and fat molecules, and transport oxygen, food materials and hormones. So lymph compared to blood is in a small quantity, and it has main function is to provide immunity for the person. So next we go to circular pathways. What is the way in which the blood flows in our body? As all of you know, the way in which the fluids flow in our body is in the form of a circle or 360 degrees. That's why we say circulatory system. Since blood is flowing, we say blood circulatory system. This circulatory system is of two types: open blood circulatory system, closed circulatory system. In open blood circulatory system, there won't be any blood vessels. The blood just flows. It's like a swimming pool, like cockroach you must have seen. Just when you by chance stab the cockroach, you can see the white blood flowing out of it. And molluscans also will have this open circulatory system, but including us, annelids and all chordates, we have closed circulatory system. Means blood flows in a closed fashion. Blood flows through arteries and veins. So then we say such a system as closed circulatory system. All vertebrates have muscular chambered heart, and heart is the pump organ, and this pump organ which pumps the blood makes the blood to flow through arteries and veins. Way back in your junior classes you have studied that arteries carry pure blood from heart to different parts of the body. Veins carry impure blood from different parts of the body back to the heart. Once the impure blood, this makes one circle, that is heart to different parts of the body, pure blood is circulated, and then impure blood from different parts circulated back to the heart. That is, if you see this heart, pure blood, so supplied the oxygenated blood to the tissues. So T for tissues, upper body also T for tissue. So the pure blood is supplied. And once this oxygenated blood is going to the parts, there cellular respiration takes place. Carbon dioxide is formed. That carbon dioxide mixed blood, we say impure blood, will be coming back to the heart. So this is one circle. Second one is, once the impure blood comes here, this goes to the lungs. Okay, lungs. And this is the second circle, wherein once it reaches the lungs, there is exchange of gases. Carbon dioxide, impure blood having carbon dioxide will be given off to the lungs. And from lungs, the purified oxygen will come back to the heart. So like this, there are two circles that are going on. That's why we say circulatory system. And heart as such, the pump organ, in our case, all of you know, there will be 4 rooms or 4 chambers. Top 2 are called auricles, left auricle and right auricle, and down 2 rooms are called ventricle, left ventricle and right ventricle. Whereas if you trace the evolutionary history of the heart, you know that most of the invertebrates will have heart-like structure with single room. Once we come to fishes, it's a 2-chambered heart. So there will be 2 rooms, 1 auricle and 1 ventricle. And evolution of it in amphibians and reptiles, it is 3-chambered heart. That is 2 auricles and 1 ventricle. And in further, crocodiles, birds, mammals, there is clear-cut division of 4 rooms, 2 auricles and 2 ventricles. In human circulatory system, there are 4-chambered heart. That's one, which pumps the blood. Then you got blood vessels, and then the blood. So human circulatory system consists of 3 things. One, main 4-chambered muscular heart. Second, blood vessels in the form of arteries and veins. Of course, further they divide into arterioles, and veins will divide further into venules. So this system, network system, will allow the blood to flow in 360 degrees. Hence we say the circulatory fluid is blood. Now specifically when we talk of heart, we need to take a vertical section of the heart. Then we understand what is the structure of this heart. So when you take a vertical section, this is how our heart looks like. So heart is the mesodermally derived muscular organ, mesoderm, middle layer, present in thoracic cavity, thorax, is chest cavity, between the 2 lungs, protected by double membranous pericardium. In Latin, cardium means heart. Peri, upon, over the heart, there are 2 layers of protective layers. These are called pericardial layers. And as I said, it has got basically 4 rooms, as you are seeing here, auricles 2 and ventricles 2. So totally 4 rooms are there. And there's a biggest artery in our body, that's called aorta. So this aorta carries pure blood or oxygenated blood. Both it carries dorsally to dorsal parts like shoulders, neck, head, eyes, ears, etc. And then this pure blood is also supplied through aorta to posterior portions. That is the chest region, stomach region, the legs and other parts of it. And once they reach to, the pure blood reaches to all the parts of the body, the oxygen will be entering into the tissues along with the glucose. As I said in my previous chapter, cellular respiration takes place. 36 ATPs are formed because of oxidation of glucose. One of the byproducts of this cellular respiration is CO2. So the CO2 now will be carried out by the same blood, decarboxylated. We say the hemoglobin. First in the pure blood it will be oxyhemoglobin. When oxygen is given off, we recollect from your memory, oxygen dissociation curve we studied in our previous chapter. So with that background, now you understand once oxygen goes off to the tissues, carbon dioxide will be taken up. So hemoglobin with CO2. That's why we say carboxyhemoglobin. Whichever blood contains carboxyhemoglobin, that's called impure blood. This impure blood will be collected posteriorly by posterior vena cava, anteriorly by anterior vena cava. Both vena cavas will come as big tube vena cava, biggest vein in our body. And that you can see here, blue one is entering into the left atrium. Okay, and now you got some fibers. Okay, this is left ventricle, and this is right ventricle, and right auricle, and left auricle. So these are the four rooms I said. And pulmonary, pulmos means lungs. So it's a pulmonary aorta which carries. Now I said artery carries pure blood, but there is an exception here. Pulmonary artery carries impure blood. That's why it is shown in blue color. This pulmonary artery is an exception. Similarly, pulmonary vein also is an exception. Pulmonary vein carries pure blood from heart, from lungs to heart, and from heart, once it comes, the pure blood enters into aorta. So in between you got bundle of His, this help in movement of heart. Then you got intraventricular septum, then apex, then of course you got choroid tendineae, and then vena cavas, of course we talked. So overall there will be what we call in between, just to ensure that pure blood will not be mixed with impure blood, and to ensure that one way flow of blood takes place, there will be bicuspid and tricuspid valves. So these bicuspid and tricuspid valves will ensure that the pure blood and impure blood will not mix up, and the blood flow will be in one direction. So the upper two chambers are called atria or auricles. We said the right auricle and the left auricle. So left auricle, again pure blood will be there. From left auricle to left ventricle blood flows in this fashion. So always left ventricle contains pure blood. Okay, and lower two chambers are called ventricles. Intra-atrial septum. Septum is a muscular wall that separates the two chambers. So this separates the right and left auricle, as you are seeing in the picture, and thick-walled interventricular septum separate the ventricles. So this is one septum, this is another septum that separates auricles and ventricles. The opening between right auricle and right ventricle. So this is right auricle and this is right ventricle, is guarded by three muscular flaps called tricuspid valve, as I said just now. Tricuspid valve, bicuspid valve, and mitral valve guards, and left auricle, this is left auricle, and the left ventricle. The opening of right and left ventricle to pulmonary artery and aorta respectively is controlled by semi-lunar, just like half moon shape, semi-lunar valve. The nodal tissue present on upper right corner of the right auricle is called SAN, sinoatrial node, and those on the lower left corner are of right auricle is called AVN, atrioventricular node. The Purkinje fibers along with right and left bundles form bundle of His. Just now I have shown you. The nodal musculature has ability to generate action potential. SAN generate maximum, what is SAN? Sinoatrial node. Generate maximum number of action potential and is responsible for rhythmic contraction of heart. Therefore, it is called natural pacemaker. SAN is the natural pacemaker. You must remember this. In almost all the exams, this will be asked. And in our next class, we will talk about this.